What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here. Alright, got another video from Popcross Studios. This is what if Minecraft mobs were superheroes and villains with stories and speed paints. Alright, so yeah, this guy's done some, the artwork he does is great, and the stories he puts in are also pretty awesome. I still stand by my original statements that the Ravager and the Warden do not belong in the superhero category. The Warden is more of an eldritch horror, and the Ravager is a siege engine used by a band of criminals. They don't fit with the hero faction. Alright, just putting that out there again. Alright, I like to put out my opinions. There you go. Anyway, so let's see what he's got for us here, and go.
For another round.
Oh, there you go. Iron Golem right there. I mean, that's perfect.
Villains. In the comment section of the previous video in this series, a lot of you have really good suggestions for what mobs to use in a follow-up episode.
Like her design.
And a bunch of people suggested I do a villain-specific episode. I like that idea,
Blaze
but I also like the idea of doing another hero episode, and eventually I just
decided
to do a little bit of both. I think it ended up being a good call, and I hope you all like the results. Let's get into the stories and art, shall we? Let's go. Hit like if you want. Subscribe if you
he's got a bunch of other superhero ones that I need to look at.
The city of Craftopolis is one of the largest hubs for superhero and supervillain activity in the world. With so many brilliant inventors creating new and incredible creations all across this technological marvel of a place, heroes must keep vigilant watch to ensure that villains don't get away with stealing from any of these great mines. Alayla had only been in the superhero game for 2 months, but
so it seems to focus mostly on her and her adventures,
and she was
meeting other heroes.
Eager to find new ones to work alongside. Her latest team-up would come when she got word that a group of villains were headed to Craftopolis Island to attack the Monimus Collective, a facility where people came together to share ideas and help each other in furthering their creations. As Alayla flew over the bay towards the island, another hero leapt up to the water's surface and swam at rapid speeds alongside her. This was Hydroaxle, a hero who focused on protecting shoreline shops and anyone who made their way into Craftopolis Bay. Her powers were amplified when she was in water, so she generally only took on missions that didn't stray far from the bay, but that meant Craftopolis Island was well within her jurisdiction. Alayla found Hydroaxle to be a wonderful ally. For fighting, she had some base level super strength and speed, but her healing abilities were particularly helpful. Axel could heal herself after being struck, by closing her eyes and remaining still for a few seconds. On top of that, she could heal her allies by putting her hands on whoever needed healing and letting energizing water particles pump through her fingertips into the person. Axel was also a fairly new hero to Craftopolis, so after working together, she and Alayla became very fast friends, determined to work together again in the near future. They stayed true to this, teaming up less than a week later, and to Alayla's surprise, Axel showed up in a different colored costume than before. Instead of pink, this time she wore yellow. Alayla didn't know many heroes who had multiple costumes.
Nice, the multiple colored Axels.
But Axel just liked to change things up for fun. She even had a blue outfit that she only wore on very rare occasions if she was teaming up with a particularly renowned group or hero. Alayla adored the fun-loving attitude that Axel brought to the hero game, and knew that they'd work well together throughout both of their careers going forward.
Okay, that was kind of cool. Design's okay. Looks like a decent aquatic superhero.
Well, Axel became one of
and there's the other one, Iron Golem. Nice.
Axel was limited to missions.
See, he's perfect.
So Alayla would often still have to work with others when facing villains farther inland to the city. But this simply meant
the arms, the way they stretch.
New people to team up with.
Nice.
One that she was thrilled to finally fight alongside eventually was one of the most renowned protectors of the city, Golemire. He wasn't much to look at as his mechanical iron-armored supersuit often looked tattered and run down. But it was always a mistake for a villain to underestimate him because of this.
Like even beat.
Golemire can hit harder than near any other hero in the city. It's rare for him to hit a foe and not have them fly backwards a fair distance. And if a foe is a ways away from him, well, he doesn't have any projectiles per se, he does get a fair amount of range out of his hits. This is because his arms are expandable and can shoot out from his body to punch foes from afar. And even at a range, the hits don't get any weaker. He can also take a hit like a champ, While his armor
Yeah.
has its fair share of dents and dings in it, nobody has
And
ever
people
been
like
able
to
to
kill
actually
him en
penetrate
masse
it
to harvest
physical
iron.
body, which nobody has ever
That's
actually
fucked up,
seen.
man. That's screwed
it's
up.
heavily rumored by many that Golemeyer is actually an amputee and controls his armor mentally. He has on occasion lifted off his mask to calm scared civilians, which has proven that he is physically in the suit, but the way his arms can bend freely when extended suggests that he doesn't have a physical
Noodle
limb inside
arms.
them and is controlling the suit with his thoughts. But that leads to something else that Alayla liked about working alongside Golemeyer. While he was sometimes known for being short-tempered, he also had proven many times to be a very compassionate and kind hero to those he protected. He even carried a flower, often hidden away somewhere in his suit, to give to people he'd helped, as a way to try and take their minds off of the fear they'd experienced from whatever had threatened them. Spending a day
sure he wasn't just
alongside
hitting on them?
Golemeyer made Alayla question why she'd heard rumors of him being short-tempered, but she eventually found that many of those rumors had been pushed by another hero, Raid Ravage. While Ravage wasn't known for being talkative, he'd never shy away from sharing his grievances about Golemeyer. They'd teamed up once years back and had majorly butted heads, even ending the collaboration in a brawl with each other that was widely publicized and not great for either of their images. People had assumed that they would work well together, being two armor-focused heroes, but their
you should have just
personalities
kept him as a villain, man.
majorly clashed, and they did everything they could to stay away from each other's territories from then on. Alayla hoped they could someday squash that beef, as they were two of the toughest heroes in the city and could do great things together. But for the time being, she was just glad the city had them both, working for the good of its citizens.
On opposite sides of the city.
Of course, while Alayla has enjoyed
Shulker
working
box.
alongside many respected heroes, the reason she's had these chances to work with others is because of the villains they're all working to stop. One of the toughest ones she's come across comes in a very small package, but that doesn't make her any less difficult to face.
Oh, girl.
Shulk Tank is a young villain only 14 years old who utilizes a myriad of tech-based weapons. She has no abilities herself, but the tech she regularly uses makes up for this. She is almost always covered by a purple dome that's proven near impenetrable by any attacks. It can hover off her when she needs to attack foes, but much of the time, it's covering her completely. She has gyro wheels in her boots and uses those to roll at fast speeds down the city streets, seeing through an array of lenses on each side of the tank. Alayla was requested to help bring Shulk Tank down because of her flight abilities. See, Shulk Tank's main form of attack doesn't often harm her opponents, but it does significantly hinder their ability to chase her down. On her wrist, Shulk has prototype grav blasters. She shoots a burst of yellow energy that flies towards her target, seeking them down if
That's
they try
annoying
to
as
evade.
hell.
And once they're struck, it makes them float up into the air for a moment before dropping them. This has injured heroes in the past if they've been hit multiple times and floated high enough that when they eventually fall back to the ground, they're hurt by the impact. But in most cases, it's simply a nuisance. Alayla was working alongside the hero Brightblaze on the first occasion when she faced down Shulk, and they did manage to damage some of the young villain's tech, but she was still able to escape. Luckily, since Alayla's abilities included tracking down items with the same vibrational frequency, with a broken piece of Shulk's tech, they were able to track her. Temporarily. It turned out there was a very good reason heroes had been unable to find where Shulk Tank was hiding. Alayla and Brightblaze were headed down to the cave systems under the city when Alayla totally lost the frequency she was tracking.
The end portal.
Vanished. Luckily, they were able to go to the last place she'd felt it, where they found a hidden portal. Brightblaze recognized it as being the same technology used by the people she'd grown up around, the notorious Nether Cult.
Not exactly.
Could be used to access the realm that the Nether Cult summoned their magic from, but rarely did any actually venture into that place, as it was incredibly dangerous. Shulk Tank's defenses must have been enough to keep her safe in there.
It wouldn't be a nether portal, it would be an end portal. Completely different dimension, dude.
While Blaze and Alayla were debating whether or not to go in after her, they were interrupted by a familiar, snorting voice, telling them they were trespassing in Nether Cult territory. They both turned to see a small band of pig-faced goons, led by a scar-faced, axe-wielding villain, too familiar to Blaze.
looks like that one siren from Shantae and the Seven Sirens, the one that has
Brutal
the
Hog
big daddy
was one
armor.
of the Nether cult's most
Yeah.
avid defenders.
Brutal
He'd been
Hog,
given
really,
super
dude?
strength and speed in a Nether ritual, similar to how Brightblaze had gotten her powers, but Brutal Hog was much more committed to the cult's causes. So much so that even when the ritual mutated him into a pig-human hybrid, he didn't show any sign of caring and continued to protect his people with pride. Others in the cult had undergone the ritual to mutate and gain strength and speed, but none took their work quite as seriously as Brutalog, which was why he'd been made the leader of the Nether cult's Pig Knight division.
Pig
He
Knight
wielded
division?
a golden axe that he used to slaughter any who threatened his people, even though
they're
that very
kinda
weapon
weak
had given
weapons.
him the scar that ran over his eye. After Brightblaze had been banished from the cult for protecting the people of Craftopolis as much as her own people, Brutalog had gone after her, deeming banishment to not be enough of a punishment. He and Blaze had a historic battle in which Blaze
Ooh.
managed to take Brutalog's axe.
Oh,
She swung
damn.
it at him, intending to only ward him off from coming in for a strike, but he kept charging, and the blade
should have
just
kept
caught the front of his
the
face
bent
and
the
opened a
bent
massive gash over
hilt
his
of the
left
axe.
eye. He was soon after incarcerated and his weapon locked away, but both would eventually be freed by members of the cult. Since then, he'd sworn vengeance on Blaze,
Of
and was
course
all
he
too
has.
thrilled to see her in his territory now for another bout. It wasn't an ideal battleground for Blaze or Alayla. Alayla was content to run, but Blaze, having a particularly strong dislike for Brutalog, charged right into the brawl. She ignited her entire body in flames and struck hard at the Hogman. Despite not being fireproof, he pushed through and took the hits and hammered back with the butt of his axe
They're
before
not that
taking
tough.
some real swings. Blaze was able to dodge these strikes, but soon the other minions joined in the fight and she was quickly overwhelmed.
Oh yeah, more piglins.
Alayla did what she could to help, but flight provided little advantage in the cave. She tried shooting in,
true.
landing a strike, then getting out, but her blades weren't doing very much to the enhanced pigman. Things were starting to look grim for the two, until the hero Wardar charged onto the scene and
Really?
rolled through the whole group. He grabbed Brutalog and hurled him into a wall,
Dude.
then told Alayla and Blaze to run. Blaze knew she could beat Brutalog one-on-one, but accepted that with his backup and in this terrain, it wasn't a fight worth risking any longer. Wardar led Alayla and Blaze back out of the caves. They thanked him for the assist, but neither of them were satisfied with the outcome. Alayla still wanted to track down
Interesting.
Shulk Tank, and Blaze wanted another round with Brutalog. But they both knew they'd have many more chances to take on strong foes, as a hero's work in Craftopolis is never truly done.
The design's pretty cool though. Gotta say that. I like that design. That is a good one.
I think that's a pretty good follow-up round. Admittedly, I still think I like the first episode better, but I think this is a pretty good part 2.
Out of all
And are
these
we gonna end up
designs of
doing a part
these
3?
ones, though,
That's
the
really up to
Piglin
all
one's
you.
the best.
Well, no, it's not all up to all you. It's up to me as well, because I'm
Yes.
the one that would have to make the episode. But it's only going to happen if I see some good suggestions in the comment section. And if this
Ender
is
Dragon.
decently well. There's a lot of factors involved, but there might be a part 3. But
Enderman,
if you're new to the
Ender
channel and
Dragon.
you haven't seen part 1, make sure to go check that out if you enjoyed this, and maybe check out my Minecraft
Creeper!
Monsters, Fantasy
Holy
Monsters
shit.
episodes. Those are some fun ones too. And besides that,
Oh my
that's all
God,
for
the
today,
Creeper,
except, of course,
holy
we're ending the
crap,
video on a
man.
positive note. And the thought I want to leave you all with today is the idea that first thing when you wake up in the morning, as soon as you realize that you're conscious, try to think to yourself, today is the best day of my life. Repeat it a bunch of times and really try to sit there and feel that feeling. Before you check your phone.
Most of the
and
times when I
try
first
to
gain
really,
consciousness in the
really
morning,
feel
I'm
that,
contemplating
because it's
being
a great way to
alive.
help set your mind up to just be more positive and see the good things throughout
Mythical
your day going
gods,
forward. Personally,
Suicide
I also
Squad,
recommend meditating
Disney
first thing in
characters.
the morning, but for now I'll stick with having some kind of really good positive thought as the first thing you think when you wake up. Hope that's helpful to someone out there. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Monday. Goodbye.
Alright, so that was pretty cool. Those are pretty good ones. I think the characters and their backstories fit, though I would much better in this one than they did in the last one. Though the Brutalog actually design is actually my favorite out of those 4 right there. That was the best one, I think. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys think was the best one. And of course, don't forget to suggest more Christmas videos or anything else Christmassy for me to do. And of course, click on the link to the original down in the description. Get down to Pop Cross Studios, like the original video, sub to them over there. Don't forget to sub to me before you guys go. Help us to build back to where we were, getting closer. Let's see if we can at least get 25K, guys, by the end of the year. And at the very least, you know, I want to get 100K by next year. So I know we can do it. We've done it before. I know we can do it again. I will see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.